Hi, so welcome to this latest 30-minute wellbeing. What we do with these videos is give you an idea to explore something around looking after your own well-being, and then we encourage you to use the rest of the 30 minutes to have a go at the idea. And we are just doing the second sort of session that looks at the theme of resilience. Last time we thought about resilient people and how they managed to do three things well. We were talking about some of the ideas of a New Zealand psychologist, Lucy Home. And she talks about the idea that resilient people don't see difficult things that happen as, like unlucky or somehow that fate is attacking you, but instead realize that difficult things happen to everybody, that difficult things don't prejudice against you, and instead able to get over that kind of why me kind of mentality. She saw that resilient people put their attention in the right place. They look forward, they think about positiveness and benefit finding, and particularly gratefulness, thinking about things that you're kind of grateful for. And then the third kind of idea is that resilient people also explore the kind of sense of what's helpful or harmful, that resilient people look to something that's going to benefit them in the long term and ask that question, is this helpful or harmful? And that's one way of looking at resilience, that it's a process that you build in you. Sometimes I think we think of resilience as a kind of hardening up, and we try and describe it in this way. We think about whether you're a frying pan or an oak tree. Now let me explain, because that's an odd idea. Imagine a frying pan protecting your heart and protecting your emotions, that kind of metal kind of thing in front of us. We often think resilience is that idea that we put a protection up, and it can be. And sometimes it's really important that we create good boundaries. And one of the things to think about you growing in your resilience is, what are the boundaries I need to put in place? Sleep, exercise, protecting yourself when you're on duty for work and when you're not, thinking about boundaries in terms of relationships. But obviously what those boundaries do is they do this, they create a block. And so sometimes it can affect the way that we can be vulnerable with other people. So another way to look at it is to think about an oak tree. There's a brilliant, wonderful oak tree in Endcliffe Park, just down the road from me, that's apparently a few hundred years old. And exploring its resilience, it's not about the hardness of the bark, but it's about its root system. And so this exercise draws on the idea of how we think about our resilience, like that of an oak tree. So I want to show you a few images, and the idea here is that you get a pen and paper out and draw a tree, and we're going to use three parts of the tree to reflect. Now, my art skills are not great, so let me say that at the off. You'll be able to draw a tree better. But I want to get you to draw a tree that looks roughly like that, that has a root system, a trunk, and a green bit on the top. And we're going to use those three things to reflect three ideas. The roots as the things we draw strength from. The trunk as that shape for us, our values, the things that shape us. And then the green bit on the top, what grows? Us on a good day, all the things that grow from those sources of strength and that structure, those values. So at the root system, I'm going to get you to write down all the things you draw strength from. What is it that you draw strength from? So I've put a few here: families, friends, hope, purpose, peace, faith. But yours could be very different. So once you've drawn your tree, get a pen out and really ponder, what do I draw strength from? And I should say at this point, you could use this video and just pause at these points, draw the tree, and when we explain each one, do that and go through it. That would be equally fine. Or you can do this at the end, whatever works for you. But in that root system, what do you draw strength from? The tree, its roots goes down into the ground and it draws strength from the earth, and that gives it solidity. Strength. When a storm comes, those roots are what holds it in the ground. And you see when a tree is ripped up during a storm, it's the roots come up with it. pulls up the ground with it. So what do you draw strength from? It's particularly important at this time. Everything that's going on, so much has changed, and maybe some of the things that you draw strength from have gone or are different. The work community, going to work, or meeting people face to face. We've had to reinvent that. But behind that, what are the things that you draw strength from? Really think about those, and think about making more time in your life for those things and to grow those things. Really important. So when we recognize that that's our root system, let's let that grow deep. So how do we give that more time? So that's idea number one, that you will have around the roots some words that you're going to explore. You're going to do the same with the trunk, but within the trunk, we're going to think about what gives us structure, our values. The trunk holds the tree upright. It's the structure of everything inside the tree is held by it. What are the values that hold you together? And it's interesting, at this time of year, we often think about New Year's resolutions, but at Space to Breathe, we find that values helps more. So if I have a value for the year, I'm going to try and be more kind, or I'm going to be kind to myself. I'm going to have more self-compassion, or I'm going to give time to something that's important to me. Be more committed to being more inclusive, cross boundaries, be more courageous. Whatever those values are, what is the shape in your life through values right now? Take the trunk of the tree and write those values down. And then what you'll have, a few words there in the trunk, and then we go up to the top of the tree. And here I'd like you to think about you on a good day. You've woken up, your favorite song's on, the sun's out, everything is brilliant, the kids have done their homework, everything is going well. What does that day look like in you? What are you like? When all of these things come together, your values and your roots, what is it you doing, you growing, you flourishing looks like? And here's some of the words I wrote down for me, but you'll write others. And then you end up with a tree that looks like this. And it's a really helpful thing to keep and go back to. Because when the storm comes, you can think, right, I need to invest in my roots. When you're looking to shape your life, you can think about your values. And when you're actually wanting the encouragement of seeing yourself flourishing and giving more time to that, you think like you on a good day, and you think, let's have some more of that. Be more content, do more good, be more encouraging. And why is this a useful tool when we think about resilience? Well, at the heart, resilience is not this kind of unattainable skill that, is incredibly difficult to gain. We know when we meet a resilient person, but resilience grows through doing simple things and repeating them. And sometimes it's trying them and seeing what works. And this is a really helpful tool I've found, and we found, for building resilience. Because if we think about what we do when we're in a storm, we think about how to shape the direction of our life, and then we actually celebrate those good things and we recognize those good things going on, then things happen in us. The roots go deeper. The values get clearer and they shape more of our decisions. And then we're able to feel good about what's going on in our life and think, yes, there's some purpose and something to celebrate there. And the three things I find often work against resilience are when we don't know where to draw strength from. Those roots are shallow for us. We're uncertain about the direction of life because we're not sure, well, what shapes me? And we feel bad about ourselves. We don't think there's a lot growing at the top. So what I'm going to encourage you to do in the rest of this half an hour is go away and create your own little tree and see what it works. And I'd love you to share it with us if you want to. So you can use social media at Space to Breathe. That's with a 2 in the middle, or on our Facebook page, or on the page for the small business support and wellbeing group. Share some ideas of what comes out of this, but I really hope that's helpful to you. It's a difficult time for us. Be kind to yourself at this time because so much is going on. It's hard, but we can each grab hold of these ideas to form and build resilience, and I think they'll help. Anyway, I hope you have a really good rest of the day, and take care of yourself, and I hope to see you really soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.